to take a minute today and talk about an article that I saw on pulpitandpen.org. The title is "We Told You So" on social justice and why you should listen next time. And the point of this article is that the author, I think J.D. Hall actually authored this particular article. Anyway, he's basically saying that this website told us so about social justice years ago. And he's not wrong. I'll tell you that right now. He actually cites a number of different things regarding the social justice movement and some of the warnings that he and his blog sort of gave regarding specific people and their leanings to social justice. And again, I'd have to say he's not wrong about this. But I wanted to talk about, so, if you want to read this, definitely go to pulpitandpen.org and read this article. I think it's the most recent one. And you can you can see how he's been talking about this for a long time. He calls the social justice warriors the evangelical intelligentsia, which I like that title very much. But anyway, I want to talk about this one particular paragraph here. Here's what he says. He says, "If you think there's any stopping the social justice beast, you're wrong. The latte mafia controls the IMB, NAMB, ERLC, SBTS, SEBTS, Midwestern, TGC, T4G, and the Baptist Press, 9 Marks, Lifeway, and most of the PCA, RTS, Acts 29, and lots of complicit accomplices in the press." And he's exactly right. I don't disagree with that sentence at all. And that's a scary sentence. If you think there's any stopping the social justice beast, you're wrong. He's right about that. I don't think there is any stopping the social justice beast. They have taken over way too much. They're everywhere, and honestly, there's going to be no stopping them from the outside. They're just completely, they're permeating every aspect of evangelicalism right now. And so, what J.D. Hall says here is that. He says, this is kind of a funny, our great hope is that John MacArthur will rise up like David and kill Goliath. I like that. That's kind of funny. But I don't, he kind of says here, even in the article, that, someone like John MacArthur just can't do it all by himself. I completely agree. But what he says here that you have to do is, here's what he says. He says that the only way forward is basically to survive it. He says, let's see here. He says, "Be of good cheer. Jesus will wipe this movement into the dustbin of history, just like he did the emergent church. And the only ones left standing will be those of us who are now being called fundamentalists." The people called fundamentalists are always the last ones left standing, by the way, and it has something to do with the foundation of our house not being built on sand. God gives people within his body discernment for its edification, but if people with spiritual gifting are treated as lepers or pariahs, the body will suffer. You may not like discernment ministries, but they're here for a reason. And so obviously this is an article sort of promoting his discernment ministry, which, some people like it, some people don't like it. That's not really what this is all about. What I think, though, is that there is no stopping the social justice movement from the outside, but it will eventually eat itself. And I think that's kind of what J.D. Hall's point is here. We have to basically survive during this time. We have to potentially act like the remnant at this time, continue to be faithful biblically, continue to stand against the ideas from the social justice movement that are unbiblical, that are unhelpful, because eventually the social justice movement will eat itself. You're already seeing signs of this. There was a tweet, I think it was by Russell Moore, who said how encouraged he was about the Southern Baptist Convention as it ended. And some of the more zealous, social justice warrior zealots were like so upset that he said that. How could you be encouraged by this? This was awful. This was just business as usual. So you see, there's a little bit of trouble in paradise already. And the reality is, none of the proposed solutions, you don't really get a lot of proposed solutions by the real zealots of this movement. But when you do, none of them will work. I mean, giving money to people, that feel marginalized or feel like they've been they're owed something, that's not going to work, because you can't throw money at a heart issue. A guy like Kyle J. Howard, who's constantly talking about money being transferred from one community to the other, and that's real repentance. It'll never satisfy him, because money cannot help a situation that's inside your own heart. Kyle J. Howard has a heart issue when it comes to white people. I mean, this is very obvious. And he would deny that up and down, but that doesn't make it any less true. It's very obvious that this is a heart issue. They want some kind of reconciliation that involves dragging white people through the coals, raking them through the coals, some kind of penance that's owed. And that's the kind of reconciliation they want, but that's not the kind of reconciliation that the Bible presents. And so it will never work. It will never work. And they will continue to attack each other until it's over. That's what intersectionality is all about. It's going to collapse in on itself. It's an ideology, it's a theology that cannot hold the weight of itself. And so you're going to start to see more of this infighting. This was a very minor thing that Kyle J. Howard was upset that Russell Moore was so encouraged. That's a minor thing, but it's going to start to get more and more serious. There's going to be infighting. You're seeing this in the secular culture as well. This is already happening within the LGBT community, for example. People get really upset about the B because the B means that there's two genders, but of course the LGBT orthodoxy says there's more than two genders, and so there's infighting here, and eventually it's going to get more and more serious, and it's just going to end up destroying itself. And so I agree with J.D. Hall here. We have to stand against it. We have to call it out. But at the end of the day, there's no stopping it. They will stop themselves. And Christ will, again, like he said, wipe this movement into the dustbin of history, just like every other bogus, unbiblical movement. He's exactly right about that. And I think it's going to happen from the inside. The social justice warriors are going to eat each other alive. That's what people that have unbiblical theologies do. They eat each other alive. So all we have to do is stay faithful, stay courageous, stay biblical, and eventually this will destroy itself. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. God bless.